Welcome to episode 2 of the Michelin Run. Today we are here at Candlenut restaurant, the world's first Michelin-starred Peranakan restaurant. This is my 5th time here. It's one of my favorite restaurants and I'm super excited to show you guys. Let's go! So last time round at Nayam, we had many dishes from a chef who had to leave home and find his roots and heritage around the world. Today is a complete opposite. We are at Candlenut, a place founded by a homegrown chef who grew up cooking with his mother with recipes passed down by his grandmother. So this is the world's first Michelin-starred Peranakan restaurant, Candlenut, right here in the heart of Singapore. So today we are going to be having the omakase. So omakase definitely comes from the word ama. It's a clever play of word. You can see the menu here is very long. It's a tasting menu for only 108 plus. So definitely very value for money for a restaurant of this standard. Here we have our 3 different starters. First, we have a kueh pie tee with Boston lobster. Then we have a ngoh hiang here with garlic chili. And we have a charcoal grilled beef satay over here. You can taste the lobster with the tomato and the laksa leaf. Interesting. 10 upon 10. What a great start. Wow, looks like perfectly cooked. We have some minced meat and prawn. Let's add a little bit of garlic chili. Very nice too. You definitely like it. Spicy though, the chili. Be careful, you cannot take spicy stuff. Lastly, this is the charcoal grilled river beef short rib satay with the Peranakan sauce. Very rich, the taste of the spices. Very impressive. I think it's an interesting twist to many dishes that we are very accustomed to locally in Singapore. We definitely know it's Peranakan, Singapore, but also they're very different from what you normally see day to day. And it all tastes great. Been here, I think this is a 5th time. Yeah, and I will definitely be back again. For a Michelin-star restaurant with this standard of food and price, you'll be surprised how efficient they are in serving the food.
So seeing how much you love this first course is quite surprising. So you must really love Singaporean food.
Of course, I'm very proud of Singapore food. I think we have the best food in the world. Even though I travel to so many countries, often what I hear is that Singaporeans are the hardest to please. In a good way, that means our food is really good. And we have a wide variety of food here at very affordable prices and super tasty as well.
Considering how much you travel, right, do you find yourself defaulting to Singaporean food? Like, do you always try and find Singaporean or like at least Asian flavors when you're overseas?
Yeah, be it in Europe, Africa, US, you can easily find Chinese food, Asian food that we are more familiar with. But I would say it's hard to find good ones compared to what you can get here. So we are definitely still in the best place when it comes to Asian food. So now after the appetizer, we have the soup with the chicken and crab tofu ball, and it's a chicken soup boiled for 4 hours. This place opened in 2010 and got their Michelin star 2016. In 2015, 1 year before they get their first Michelin star, the chef actually wanted to close it down and call it a day because people were coming back for his food. Though they were nice, but they were all very safe choices. That didn't allow him to push the boundaries of his creativity. So he made a drastic move now that he got enough regular customers. He scrapped all the a la carte menu and changed it to omakase style only. So that forced all the diners to trust his cooking, and that radical move pushed them to achieve their first Michelin star. So lesson learned here is that in life, follow your heart, be brave enough to try new things. The results could surprise you. Let me introduce all the dishes. Let's see if I can do that in one go. If I can, probably I can apply for a job here. So this one we have the Assam black ink squid. Then we have a salad here with anchovies. This one is the sambal free-range egg baby squid as well. We have a prawn dish with white curry. This is our signature curry blue swimmer crab. And here we have hanwu beef meatball with some sambal as well. And over here we have deep fried red snapper with some laksa leaf and side. And of course this is called Thai home mali white rice. So everything here comes from the omakase apart from the blue swimmer crab curry and the Assam sotong which we ordered in addition to the omakase menu. My recommendation, but if you come here, you have to try, in my opinion, the blue swimmer crab curry. I always have this when I come here. And of course also the Assam squid. Must try.
Alright, Kevin, so was there a moment in your career where you almost walked away, and what kept you in?
There are definitely several times that thought was entertained because few people truly understand how tough this business is, how much tougher it is to sustain once you get to a certain level. at every level is much harder than you think. When you're on your own, life is simpler. You take care of yourself and your own mental state, physical state, overall well-being. But when you move up further, you need a bigger team. You have to work with many people on a daily basis in a very close manner. That's when you have to handle a lot of people's issue as well. Sometimes that's fine. Some days that can be very draining on you physically, mentally especially. So of course, you can't help but think from time to time, is this all worth it? So that's why at the end of the day, you must be very clear of your why. You must have a big enough purpose and reason to continue on the journey. Otherwise, you burn out and it's not sustainable. So the why has to keep you going despite the challenges and how difficult things get along the way. So after the restaurant was awarded their first Michelin star in 2016, things didn't go uphill straight away from there. In fact, the chef mentioned that he fell into depression because he had to give up a lot of things that were dear to him as well to reach that very long 15-16 hours work days, and at the end of the day he questioned himself whether all this was worth it. So I think he made a complete change again to really make time for the things that he valued in life, and he also changed the culture of how he runs the restaurant, the business, to allow staff to also have time to focus on other aspects of their life that they value as well, and not just work non-stop from day to night. I think that applies to many of us as well. Sometimes when we are chasing for certain milestones or to reach a certain point, maybe too blinded by that goal that we give up certain things, or we fail to notice certain things or certain people around us in the pursuit of that. And when we get there, we look back, we ask ourselves whether all this was even worth it. So while it's good for us pursuing a big goal, trying to reach somewhere bigger than ourselves, to do things that are not beyond ourselves, we also have to be very mindful not to get lost in the pursuit of it. We still need to be very clear of what are the values that we embody, and don't forget to enjoy the journey along the way as well. Even for myself in this journey, there are times that you are too focused on reaching a certain goal that you unknowingly neglect or give up other aspects of your life which are as equally important as well. At the end of the day, we all need to realize that the journey is far more meaningful than the destination. So you know how in the FA industry is very recognition driven. So especially in the initial years when you're trying to build your own personal brand, personal credentials, all these individual milestones and achievements are important. So of course when I achieved my first MDRT, POT, all these things, it felt great at the point in time. After a while, when I started a team, I realized that it isn't about myself anymore. And when I see my team members also start to achieve those milestones for themselves, actually that brought to me 10 times the fulfillment of me achieving it myself. Sometimes you get there the first time, well, it feels great, but since years ago, I find that it's very empty to just chase personal glory. And in the journey, I find that it's a lot more meaningful to celebrate the success of the people who are alongside me. Of my team members, we also found breakthroughs and achieved all the milestones for themselves.
Halfway through the main course,
This one, 11 upon 10. Blue simmer crab curry.
Everything else, the whole meal.
All very good. All you must kind of eat.
So Kevin, if you have kids one day, what's one thing you want them to inherit from you?
The never give up spirit. So when faced with difficulty, obstacles or setbacks, you must always have the mentality that there's always a way out and there's always a way to overcome and come out of it even better. So in my life, I faced too many setbacks and obstacles. It would have been easier to just give up and accept that as fate. My mentality is no matter how difficult things get, there's always a way around it. I just have to find that way. So if there's one thing I want my future kids to embody, it will be this spirit. Finally, it's time for dessert. We are bursting at this point in time. So this is a glutinous rice ball made with sweet potato. And then we have a coconut sorbet. Let's go.
The Korean memory or Peranakan heritage?
No Korean roots, nor Peranakan roots. Maybe I should go and do a DNA testing.
Candlenut out of 10.
Hard to be 10 upon 10, right? At least 9 upon 10. Must come, must visit. If you have not been here, you are missing out in life. Wow, so full after the meal. So that's it for episode 2 of the Michelin run. Hope you have enjoyed the meal with me. I would give this a rating of 9 upon 10. Must come if you are living here in Singapore. Otherwise, you are definitely missing out. My favorite dishes would be the blue swimmer crab curry and the Assam sotong, all-time favorite. So that's it. I'll see you in episode 3.